Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. The world of cozy gaming is expanding all the time and 2025 looks to be bigger and better than ever. If you are looking for a chill gaming experience, I've trialed 5 of the most recent releases to bring you this week's Play or Pass. First up is Wanderstop, a super chill narrative game where you follow a beaten down warrior in need of rest. Your character, Alta, is a fallen fighter who took to the magical forest in search of her master, who might be able to help her regain her strength. Along the way, she's rescued by a stranger who suggests she come and help him run a tea shop as a way of healing inside and out. Grow and harvest the ingredients needed for tea and then mix them together in an unusual tea-making contraption. Along the way, speak with the many travellers who pass through the shop, learn their stories and make tea that's just right for them. Alta doesn't want to break her focus from her training, but the calmer lifestyle is forced upon her by her body's need to rest, and she may learn that peace is as valuable as productivity. All in all, I kind of felt like that forced stillness, that forced rest that Alta is getting in the game translates to the player. There's no timer on this. Like, there's no, this has to be done at this specific time. It's all very like, when you're ready to do this, go and do this. The pressure is completely off. Even the music feels calm. I think it's the perfect combination of a visual novel and a farming sim. A great way to wind down at the end of the night. I also feel like this is going to appeal more to those people who love a visual novel. It's going to be a really great intro to a farming sim because it is very narrative heavy. Sugardew Island. This has had so much build up. I had planned to pick this up to review and then I saw some mixed reviews. So I decided to demo it, which I did post on this channel, just to kind of like give it a go before I decided to spend any of my money. And I can see why some people are disappointed. Sugardew Island is an intentionally uncomplicated cozy farm shop sim. This is what they say. Crafted by a tiny indie dev team, we developed Sugardew Island so that you can unwind, relax, and enjoy your beloved genre. So I kind of feel like intentionally uncomplicated and from a tiny indie dev team could be seen as a cop-out to market a very basic game. You know what I mean? They also say that you take care of animals, your farm, sell your goods to the cute forest folk, upgrade your farm. It's all kind of very similar. And then you have a harmony tree and you have to fill the tiny island with life again. It is a very basic game. My first impressions weren't fantastic initially. My first impressions. It looked like a mobile game from 10 years ago. The whole feel of it. It was immediately obvious how limited the play was going to be. Running your own shop sounded interesting. That was the thing I was like, oh, this could be good before I played a day and realized it's almost all automated with just the occasional coin toss like ABC decision for the player. The rest of the game seems mostly farming to sell produce and to gain harmony to move up the ladder. That said, I could have had a sleep after an hour playing Sugardew Island. It's a very basic game. Like the basic gameplay, the monotony, the tasks, coupled with the lack of pressure because there's no time. There's no like a timed day is not in existence there. It made it very relaxing. You're still achieving something. You're still moving up the ladder. You still feel like you're moving towards something. It's not just like pointless days. So you are still repeating the tasks and you're building a farm, you're building something, but there's no clock on your goals, so you can take it as easy as you like. At the end of the day, to me, this feels like a mobile game. It doesn't feel like a game that you should be spending money on. I think it's like $25.99 to buy a physical copy of this. It's around £15, something in that. Hang on, $12.99, I tell a lie. $12.99 on the Switch, $12.14 currently on Steam. Even that, I think, is too much money for this. All the way through, I was kind of waiting for that little like spend money on gems to make your crops grow quicker, that kind of thing. It has the feel of a mobile game. And so I think that's probably what people are feeling that like disappointment with. However, I do feel like there is a place for this kind of game. It is very calm. It is very relaxing. The fact that it isn't a big game is part of its appeal. I just feel like it's priced incorrectly for what it's giving to the player. Hello Kitty Island Adventure was another one that was massively anticipated. Now, I'd already played this on Apple Arcade and I had a video playing the game. I had quite a few people message me after the fact being like, did you keep playing it? Did you love it? No, not really. I'm not a massive fan of Sanrio, and so there wasn't a huge draw to the Hello Kitty version of Animal Crossing, which is what it seemed to be, but everyone was talking about it, so I had to give it a go. The art and the playstyle here definitely do feel familiar, with that like crafting, decorating, gifting the villagers to build friendship, but there's much more exploration to be had in this game. The quests give you more purpose, and the island feels more expansive than in Animal Crossing. So it's not like it isn't the same game at all. It just has the same feel. Ultimately, if you love Animal Crossing and you want a fresh take, this could be for you. The thing that I can't get past is the price. I played this as part of Apple One's subscription, so I don't subscribe specifically to Apple Arcade. It bundles together with TV, music, cloud storage. I've just got it as a free benefit. So for me, as a free game, it was fun, but it didn't grab me enough that I wanted to pay $35.99 to play it on my Switch. I should say that that crossover has happened. I was originally playing Wildflowers on the Apple Arcade and decided to buy it, but I think that was around the £20 mark. I think the real problem here, for me, that I'm recognising the more games that I play, is I don't think that I would have been an Animal Crossing fan. It was the perfect storm for me to discover cozy gaming and Animal Crossing specifically, because I was much more into like the pixel art, that kind of thing, like Stardew, totally up my street. Animal Crossing, like I was never into My Sims, and I love The Sims, but My Sims, that kind of feeling of a game, I was never into that at all. And so I think it was more, I bought Animal Crossing for my son, and it was COVID times, we were trying to play it together. He wasn't really interested, then I was furloughed from work. I just kind of fell into this thing. I found all of these gaming channels, all these people talking about it. And like I say, it was just the perfect storm. I don't know whether or not now, if you put Animal Crossing in my hands, it would have hit the same. And so it's not really a fair comparison because I love Animal Crossing now. It's like it buried its way in, but Hello Kitty was never going to get that same chance with me. And for me, this is just an amalgamation of too many of the same games that I've just played them to death. So if you've never played a game like that before, and this is your first introduction, you might absolutely love it. If you love Animal Crossing, can't get enough of it, you're just burned out on it, and you want a fresh take, this is probably also for you. But also it is hugely different in that there's masses more to explore. It's a lot more adventure-y. Yeah, I think it would be unfair for me to say, oh, it's not a good game, because I don't think it is a bad game. It's just not for me. And it's also really expensive. Echoes of the Plum Grove. So this came out on Steam last year, but it's new to Switch. I had planned to make 100 days in Echoes of the Plum Grove video. Initially, I was such a fan, and I burned myself out real fast on this game. My mind changed. Within a 2-week period, I was like, couldn't talk about anything else. Don't want to play it at all. A new life awaits you in Honeywood. After washing onto the island's shores, you'll find yourself the newly minted owner to a humble plot of land. Pull up your sleeves, grab your tools, get to work building a farm that will not only last a lifetime, but span generations. Echoes of the Plum Grove is a casual, cozy farm simulator where your decisions have consequences. What to plant, what to stock for winter, and who to befriend will shape not only the town of Honeywood, but the island itself. I played 2 full in-game years on Steam Deck before it came to Switch, and initially, like I say, I was really excited about this. A few of the features, like not having to sleep at a specific time, and food expiring, they felt like a fresh take on something that was a little bit stale, the whole farming sim. But it got old really fast. In theory, I love that you can die and continue to play as generations for your family. It adds something that we've really only had in The Sims, which I love. And I always play generations in The Sims. I love the long game, but for me, it was just too much of a grind. It feels like you need to know everyone in town, but just as your family moves through the generations, so do they. So I found it really difficult to keep tabs on who was from what family and build friendships with living residents. The farming really only becomes enjoyable once you can outsource it to your family members who also die. You do have the option to turn off some settings like taxes, food decay, disease, but that takes a chunk away from the game. And overall, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm just so disappointed because the biggest issue was the lack of long-term goals. I left each session feeling a bit empty in the same way that you do when you've played 2 hours of a game and it crashes without saving. It felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. It's a lack of accomplishment that comes with a steady stream of new characters and an inability to build a single life. I mean, you're building the farm, but it feels like you're starting over all the time. I may return to the game at some point, but everything that makes it different and that made me so excited about this game is also everything ironically, that I ended up disliking in Echoes of the Plum Grove. This is totally going to be a preference thing. It is a really solid game for the price. I think it's less than £10 at the moment on Switch as of recording. Definitely was like around the £15 mark on Steam, so it's probably not going to be that much more than that now. It's really great, like witty writing, really funny. I really like the style of it, like the paper people. Again, I loved it in theory, but I just felt like I couldn't keep hold of anything. And I think that's probably part of the appeal. The part of the charm of the whole thing is that everything's fleeting. Everything, you can't keep hold of anything. That's life. But I was struggling to feel like I was building on something because every time I felt like I was getting somewhere, everyone died. Dreaming Isles, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. And I can kind of see why. It falls under exactly the kind of game that I would usually be interested in. And so I would have expected loads of people to be talking about this. But there's something missing. You play as a lost mariner tossed up on the shores of an abandoned island. Feels familiar. Surprise, surprise, used to be a farm. There are other islands around you to explore. And many people to meet. Again, all feels same old, but all is not well in the Dreaming Isles. The warring factions of pirates and trade vessels have caused strife for the islanders. This is where it gets a bit more interesting. They need your help to find their way again. Dreaming Isles is a wholesome farm life sim that combines high seas adventures, relationship building, Zelda-like exploration, sword and sorcery. There's no shortage of farming, fighting and romance, but does it have the special something that will keep you hooked? I do want to preface this by saying this is from a solo developer, and I am always so impressed by anyone who has the variety of skills needed to create a game start to finish completely alone. In theory, it's really not a bad game, but for me, it just felt unfinished. There were so many details and the game is large, but I couldn't have played for very long at all without assistance from the online community. There is very little guidance in-game, and that really hindered my ability to immerse myself in the story. I didn't know before buying this that it's actually the first chapter in the series, but I probably wouldn't have bought this had I known. Apparently, the remaining chapters will be free updates, but in my mind, this should have been advertised as early access. It does explain that unfinished feeling, but it also hopefully leaves the opportunity for the developer to add updates to the game based on player feedback from chapter 1. There's a lot of potential here, and the game really allows you to choose the elements that you want to explore, but it really needs some refining. Hopefully this has been useful or entertaining, or maybe you're stuck onto something heavy and you couldn't turn it off. Either way, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!